The holidays at Disneyland, one of the best times to come. And to celebrate this festive season, my friends and I are choosing our top 3 favorite animated films from classic to modern, as well as our favorite hybrid films, which includes live action. So we will be going to different lands and sharing our favorite animated films, as well as others that we feel like throwing in. So enjoy. We are right here in the fantasy land of all places, but this land was closest to Walt's heart. Everybody knows that. But in addition to that, my top 3 animated films, classic-wise, in this land alone: Snow White, Dumbo, and Pinocchio. Simply because they were made when Walt was still alive, and they were the darkest things at the time. That's the whole story. But also because they share the message of, especially Dumbo and Pinocchio, family values, which is something is of interest to me, always, and always has been. So, thank you.
We are right outside Carthay Circle Restaurant. This was designed by Carthay Circle Theater, the very theater where Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs first premiered in 1937. Because of that, we are doing traditional movies right now. So my favorite traditionals are Peter Pan, All It Takes Is Faith, Trust, and a Little Pixie Dust. Cinderella, I've always loved the rags to riches stories, especially with a girl like her who really does deserve all the happiness in the world. And Lady and the Tramp, mainly because I'm an animal lover.
Beyond this store is a very forgotten, but very expensive and membership-only club, Club 33, which is why this segment will focus more on the forgotten Disney films. My favorite forgotten Disney films are The Great Mouse Detective, Oliver and Company, and The Fox and the Hound. Not just because of the friendship, but because for The Fox and the Hound, that was one of them. But for The Great Mouse Detective, because Vincent Price's involvement, and also because it was one of the more popular Disney films of the 80s, I think, in my opinion. But that would be my top 3 favorite forgotten films.
We're at the entrance to the Blue Bayou restaurant, a restaurant that some people know but others know better. We know it as the restaurant attached to the Pirates of the Caribbean, but only some people know what goes on inside. Therefore here we are going to do the forgotten movies, those that some people know and others know more than others. Like for me, one of them is Robin Hood, the one with the Fox version, which I thought was a very nice twist. And then the top two favorites are the 2 Rescuers, Rescuers and Rescuer Down Under. That just always had a very special place in my heart.
We're here on the Rivers of America, and this is a very special segment because here we're talking about our favorite Renaissance films. And our favorite Renaissance films, mine included, would be Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, and Lion King. Not just because of friendship, but also because of other reasons that I don't know about. But yeah, those would be my top 3 favorite Renaissance films. And the reason for the liking of Aladdin was because of the whole friendship thing, which has always been very important to me. So, yeah.
Behind us is the Sleeping Beauty Castle, which is the center of the park. And I thought it was appropriate to do the Renaissance era here because Disney was and is the center of my life. Now, this one's going to be a bit of a little cheat for me because I got 4 ones. I got Lion King, that is my #1 movie of all time. I've seen it 8 times in the theater. The 2 that are tied for #2 are Beauty and the Beast and Little Mermaid. I love the messages behind there and the singing involved. It'd be the best thing I've ever heard. And another close personal favorite, Nightmare Before Christmas. My mother bought it when I was young, thought I would be scared, and I've been watching it for 20 years straight.
We are here at the very entrance of the World of the Future, Tomorrowland. And today we're discussing the post-Renaissance films that I have narrowed it down to 3 favorites for different reasons. One of them being Lilo and Stitch being one of them, as you can tell. The other one being Brother Bear, and then the other one being Emperor's New Groove. The other one, and those reasons are because of all the friendship and family values. Again, it's something very important to me from the bottom of my heart. So that's why I have narrowed it down to those 3 favorites.
As you can see, we are in a land that is one of the smallest ones and yet has the most character. In which case, I thought it was very appropriate to do the post-Renaissance one because I only saw, admittedly, 2 movies, but I still love them dearly. I loved Lilo and Stitch because of how unique the characters are and the different spin they took. And Emperor's New Groove is just because it's so very funny and just all the stuff that you see in it is just absolutely fun to watch.
We've actually shifted our focus now to Disney's California Adventure, where we will talk about the Neo-animated films. And one of my favorite Neo-animated films is actually 3, Princess and the Frog being one of them, Tangled being another one, and then Wreck-It Ralph being another one. All because of not really the same thing like I talked about in the previous segment, but because it shows that you can't marry someone you just met, and also because Wreck-It Ralph shows a lot more about friendship. That's why it's very underrated, and I love it. But that's why I love those movies. Was because of those reasons. So.
We are right in front of innovations where tomorrow meets today. And because of that, we are going to do the modern movies. Right now, I love Princess and the Frog because Tiana is one of the princesses who actually works for her dream, and I thought that was a very nice change that we did. Tangled because I actually identified the most with Rapunzel, living a sheltered life, but still wanted to have a dream and follow it and branch out on their own. And the movie that is currently in theaters, Big Hero 6, because I love Disney and I love Marvel, and I just love Baymax. He's so cute.
Paradise Pier, a place where you can feel at home, even though we live near the beach, but that's a whole other story. Anyways, it's like this segment that I would like to dedicate to hybrid animated films, which includes films like some classics and some modern, and maybe here and there. But this segment I would like to call for the hybrid animated films, and here are my favorites. Mary Poppins being one of the classics, Pete's Dragon being another underrated classic, and then the other one being Fantasia 2000, which has animation here and there and everything else. And the reason why I chose those 2, Pete's Dragon and Mary Poppins, for instance, was, well, Mary Poppins is a classic. How can anyone go wrong with that? The other one being Pete's Dragon because of the story of friendship and how friends should always stick to each other. Like glue, I guess. And Fantasia 2000 just because I love classical music, and I love the fact that it's beautifully animated.
Just outside Ariel's Grotto, where land and sea meet together. So because of that, we decided to do the hybrid films here. My 3 choices are Mary Poppins. I dare you to find someone who does not like that movie because it is a classic, has a great message, and it's just wonderful to watch. Bedknobs and Broomsticks. I've been watching that since I was a little girl, and I love the history involved, the magic, and the battle at the end. And the third one, the more recent one, Enchanted. Now, some people say like, oh, that's a parody. I don't think so. I think it's just a new twist on the Disney princesses, and the fact that you can find true love when you're not looking was a good thing that was taught there.
Monsters, Inc., one of the most popular Disney films of all time, Academy Award winner and everything. That's why I have shifted my focus to my favorite Pixar movies. And my favorite Pixar movies are, of course, Finding Nemo, for family values, The Incredibles for the same reason, and a personal favorite, the Toy Story trilogy, which is what I grew up with. I remember seeing my first showing of Toy Story at a special theater in Irvine. So that's why. So that's why those films are very close to my heart, because of the family values in all three of them.
We are right outside Radiator Springs, or as a lot of people call it, Cars Land. So welcome to the Pixar Movies version. So my favorite are Brave. I absolutely love Merida, wanted to be independent and but still be in tradition, especially since she's the first and to date only Pixar princess. I love The Incredibles. I love superhero movies, and that was just an amazing ride. And of course, Toy Story trilogy. None of them are better than the other. They are all absolute gold and will always be loved.
Just like Walt Disney's journey to start a company and make his dream come true, the road never stops here. In fact, that's the end of this vlog of my favorite Disney animated pictures, but not the end of this series. So, just remember one thing: when you wish upon a star, your dreams come true. See you next time.